and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus, on the forum.
This is not Parker. I go by Jeremy on the forums.
Not Parker. Nice. For those of you that have joined us in the past, Parker's not here today. Fortunately, because he's such a great cast member, he gave us about 8 seconds of notice that he wasn't going to be here. So, he's not here. Moving on. We've got a little bit of news today. We have the official release for the Shadowlands Daredevil and Elektra kit has been spoiled. We know a lot of stuff about the kit now beyond just it's Daredevil and ninjas. So it's officially Shadowlands Daredevil, and if people don't know, Shadowland is kind of like a little niche, like specialist group of the Defenders, kind of. A lot of them are like city level heroes like Elektra and Daredevil, and I believe that White Tiger's been included in that a lot. Characters like that, and I think Night Nurse shows up in the Shadowlands stuff a lot. But anyway, there's a myriad of characters that are involved in the Shadowlands. It's basically the Defenders or Marvel Knights stuff that's specifically centric around the Hand group. So anything involved in that is kind of involved in the Shadowlands stuff.
So if you painted your Daredevil thinking you were clever and cool as a Shadowland Daredevil, throw that shit in the trash. That's not the right one.
So anyone who's seen the new Daredevil model, Jeremy, have you looked at the model?
No.
Okay, well I'm going to send you a link
to
the thing, and so you can look it up. And let me know the second that your eyes are laid upon the Daredevil sculpt.
Okay, it's on.
Okay. Did they not just go backwards in dynamic posing? He's just standing there like, hi
dude,
guys, I'm Daredevil.
I
don't get it.
That is the dude from Pulp Fiction that climbs out of the box.
Exactly. He's the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. He's just there wearing a mask, holding his batons like, where do these go? Like it looks like he's directing traffic with road flares.
Well, that's the Ben Affleck version.
Yeah, this is the Ben Affleck. So I don't mind the sculpt. There's plenty of detail on the model. It's not like it's a bad model. It seems like they realized that they went a little too far with the dynamic posing between like Daredevil and Iron Fist and a couple other models like that. And it's like, maybe we need to take it down a notch, guys. And so this seems like what should have been the first Daredevil, and the last Daredevil is the one that should have been like Daredevil 2. I think they also learned from their people did not like the baton spiral thing. That was
now he's got 2 pieces of dynamite or something.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, it is specifically Shadowlands Daredevil, so I imagine he'll be the leader of the Shadowlands. And then we've got Elektra, who is in a very dynamic pose. I actually like this pose for Elektra a lot. Something like this for Black Cat I would have liked a lot more. But unfortunately, we did not get that.
What do you mean? She's facing forward? That seems fine. Mm-hmm. That's legit.
She's facing forward. Yeah, I don't like my characters like laying down on their back for some reason. Anyway, though, I think it's pretty cool pose. I like the shuriken that are on her base there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This actually looks pretty cool. It looks like they're doing some justice to Elektra, and she's not just random woman with knives. So that's pretty cool. And then finally, we get to the Shinobi. I don't know what they're officially called. What are they called? Are they called hand ninjas?
I don't. Spear guy, sickle guy, and sword guy. I don't know. Does each one of them have a name? And one of them can see 360, and one of them.
Well, I was just looking. Do they actually call them something here?
Hand ninjas.
I'm reading the fluff. It just says and Elektra. Okay, they're called hand ninjas in the pictures. Okay, so hand ninjas. Okay, so we've got the hand ninjas as well, which actually look pretty cool. I like the shadow, like smoke underneath them because they're doing like a shadow bomb attack. But that's pretty cool. I'm worried a little bit now that I see the side picture in the below part. Because it looks like that one guy is literally just standing on the belt of that other guy. Do you see that?
Literally is. Correct.
That's making me a little nervous. Like,
that's
I don't want
fine.
my guys. That's definitely going to break.
They used the technology for Storm, and now they've created this.
Yeah.
They were like, they can do that.
I think you mean Nebula.
Wait, that's true. Nebula. Well, Nebula is done in my box. I had to fix her.
That's true. You just glued her butt
She's
to the
on
base.
the
Like
base.
she's literally sitting down, holding her swords up, and I'm like, what are you doing?
She's hiding in the shadows.
So anyway, so we have that information. We also know that which Tactics cards are coming in the box. This has me a lot more excited than any of the models.
Okay.
So the first one is Shuriken Arashi Attack, or whatever that's called. I assume that's going to be some kind of attack card for the Shadowlands, which is going to be god-awful, I expect. And so that's not good.
It'll be a twist the knife, right? You think it'll be a twist the knife kind of deal?
It could be. I expect it to be more like heavy ordnance, but with like a knife.
Ugh.
Yeah, so not good. Anyway, moving on. The next card's called Vendetta. I'm very excited to see what that is. And then the next card, Bounty Hunters. That could be cool. Next up, we have Cruel Tutelage. I think that will be fun as well. And then I think this will be a generic card, No Mercy. That sounds fun as well.
Hopefully you do the damage of your opponent's damage that's on their card.
Mm-hmm.
Sabretooth already has this, by the way.
Yeah. Sabretooth. Is it actually called No Mercy?
I believe so. His superpower.
It is called No Mercy. Okay. So anyway, that's the only real new news that we have. It's kind of exciting. It's interesting to get more of this stuff. I can only assume that this Daredevil will also be illegal in the Defenders affiliation, but we'll see.
In his tight leather.
Yeah. So currently playing, I've been out of it with illnesses lately. I think I had 3 of them in the last 2 weeks. But Jeremy, have you played any games lately?
I sure did.
Ooh.
I played some X-Force again. Unfortunately, like, I am not one to grab a hold of what the internet tells me. Like, I tend to, I will beat my head against something until I get proven one way or another. But I have to tell you that everyone is right. The X-Force, just trying to win with a quasi-attrition just is not the way to do it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can almost kill everybody, and then I almost always win. Like, that's
So
kind of the way the game goes.
You're saying what you really need is like one model that's just like the best at what it does, that's really good at like finishing off characters and surviving to the end of the game, because he just has the ability to just like stay in there. He has the ability to like heal himself. He's got good physical resistance. Is that what you need? You need a character like that would go really well with your affiliation?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're not... I'm not even going to say it. Like, that's going to be my new blade. I'm not saying it. We're not going to talk about it. It doesn't exist.
I do think Wolverine works well in X-Force.
It still isn't going to help for what I'm talking about. It doesn't fucking matter.
I don't know. I think having a killing machine model would be pretty good.
That sometimes kills, and that's exactly what X-Force needs. Another model that sometimes kills models. That's the fucking problem. Like, it doesn't...
He shines so much better in X-Force than he does in other places.
It could be, but at the end of the day, you sometimes kill stuff, you sometimes don't. And you have
That's
a 5
true
point...
of all models.
No, you have a 5-point model that
Mm-hmm.
basically sits around and sometimes does damage, sometimes doesn't, sometimes helps with defense rolls, sometimes doesn't. None of your shit does any sort of throwing or moving or pushing.
The whole point of Cable, beyond the obvious leadership ability, is that he is an efficient model that weakens targets and hopefully applies Incinerate to them before your actually hard hitters go in. Like, that's the whole point of him.
Uh-huh.
Like, he just softens people up so that the rest of the X-Force guys can kill people.
Cool. It's still not enough. It's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
X-Force is not... It just doesn't do it. Like, it...
Can I instead interest you in the bad guys version called Spider Foes?
I actually have that in my bag right now. That's exactly what I'm switching to.
Remember why I told you to just play Spider Foes instead? You're like,
no,
I don't
because
wanna.
We were sitting there talking, and people were playing all kinds of things, and Parker was playing Spider Foes, and I'm like, okay, cool, you do that. And then I was going to do X-Force, and we were all doing different shit. And then what does Parker do? He brings up guns. Like, that's what he's doing now. Which, if he was not playing that, I really like that a lot. That's a sick list for certain. But yeah, I played a few games. Nothing to tell other than what I just said. Like, it's just a matter of I can kill a bunch of models, but I just can't kill enough. I can kind of play the objective game. It's just not quite enough just to win on a consistent basis. Like, it just doesn't do it.
Okay.
And you haven't played any games since?
I have not.
What's your list right now? What are you trying to play?
I have been playing Sam. I'm kind of excited to switch to Brotherhood as soon as Juggernaut comes out.
Uh-huh.
Actually, you know what? I think I need to check our pre-orders because
is he on there?
I'm willing to bet that nobody put in the MCP pre-orders while I've been out.
Oh.
And so I need to check that
God.
tomorrow. First thing tomorrow, I need to check that.
The last thing I need is one more model to paint, so I really don't give a fuck, but there's a lot of people that are really into him.
Well, this release includes Hulkbuster, so yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be excited.
Yeah, that's fine. So many good models all the time. I mean, they just keep pumping them out, and they all have an impact, which is cool. You don't see that a lot in other games.
Yeah, it's generally impactful without being game breaking, which is a really fine line. What have I been looking to play?
How do you feel? What about, like, we never really talked about it, but when you were playing that all the big guys, that list was pretty sick, man. That was kind of tough.
Doctor Strange getting nerfed is a big deal.
No. It was Hulk. Like, it was all Hulk shit.
Oh, like the Angels
that was
of
dumb.
List?
Yeah, that was so
that was
dumb.
Funny. I think there's better ways to do that. I've been considering trying to rebuild that inside Defenders instead of inside A-Force. I like the inside A-Force thing, but it's just not there. It's like X-Force. It just doesn't have that scary edge. It can win games just fine, but it's more about your opponent than it is about you on if you win or not. But I think if you want to do a list like that, you should probably be playing either Avengers or Defenders. And so I actually wouldn't mind playing a little bit of Defenders with Hulk, because I think Portal Hulk can be really scary now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I might look into that. Also, I think Hulk in X-Men right now isn't bad either, because the X-Men supporting cast has gotten good enough to not be terrible. And that's really all you need if you're throwing in Hulk with free placement and cover.
Yeah.
Because Hulk's threat range becomes just absolutely absurd at that point.
I really like what Jake has been doing with Steve Rogers.
Yeah, just generic Avengers.
Yeah, just generic Avengers being played well, and just seeing what the cheap superpowers can do. It's a lot. It can do a lot. It's pretty cool. There's so many good options right now.
That list feels a lot like the first wave of the game when Avengers were like, not only like the mainstream because they were the only thing out, but also very good. Because you gotta remember that Avengers list was going against, like, MODOK Cabal, which is not a bad list either.
Well, seeing Steve, like, bang his shield off everybody, and he gets 4 attacks basically a turn, I just didn't see that coming.
I mean, the wild on 5 dice is not 4 attacks a turn. But
no,
it's
when
you hit it every time, it's nice.
But
when you hit it when you roll really well on that attack, you feel it because the ricochet comes in so often. Yeah. So yeah, if I was going to switch to anything right now, it would be Defenders probably, and then as soon as Juggernaut comes out, I'll be switching to Brotherhood for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Which I might be playing Hulk, Juggernaut, Magneto, and just seeing how that goes.
Oh Lord, that's backbreaking.
That would be fun. Yeah.
That's backbreaking. Yeah, a couple bad turns from your opponent, and it's over. Like, they're just squashed.
Yeah. I might be playing Criminals as well during that time period, because Juggernaut Criminal seems very exploitable. I
feel like Criminals is the sleeper of all the factions. I feel
like if a good player puts the time in to get really good with Criminals, they're just going to walk over the meta for a while.
Yep, there's so many good 2-pointers anymore. Like, it's I don't see how they're not just taking over. I really don't. That's always Sans Web Warriors. Web Warriors has its own problems in my spirit and my soul. It's damaged my heart, but Criminals is always the roughest game I play against ever. It just feels like you just can't do anything about it. Like, the first couple turns are just so awful when everybody's on their healthy side.
The interesting part of that is web warriors and criminals can both lose games to dice, even though they're fairly dice independent factions. But the problem with web warriors is they can win on both sides by you rolling bad or your opponent rolling exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Criminals can only really lose if your opponent rolls exceptionally well.
That's true.
Because you don't need to roll dice. Like, even defensively, like, most of your stuff has either damage reduction or so few defense dice that it really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
As where web warriors are kind of balanced around their defense holding up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has, 5 health in web warriors, basically? 5 or, well...
Everyone has 5
10s.
health, no one has damage reduction, and they all have a lot of rerolls. And as you saw, Venom is exceptionally good into web warriors, so... Because he can drag in the squishy people, he can make out-of-activation attacks, and he prevents the re-rolling. He hits hard enough to punch through their defense. He's very good into them. Anyway, so yeah, that's my currently playing. Hobby projects, I'm still trying to get the freaking convocation put together. It's never going to happen. I haven't felt well enough to sit down and do any hobby projects lately. Jeremy, you've been painting stuff.
I have. I painted Dormammu. I just painted Dormammu, Hood, Brother Voodoo, Moon Knight, and who's the other one in that little Blade. I painted all them. They're all done. They're on my magnet rack. The thing I painted all those. They're good to go. And the thing that got me is when I got into their boxes and got all their cards out, I just looked at Convocation yet again, and I'm putting all the Convocation cards up. And what it reminds me of with Convocation, because it's so weird and all of it is so different, I'm like, do I really want to learn Spanish at my age? Like, that's how it feels. I'm like, do I ever want to pick Convocation up and actually learn to play it well? I don't think I do. I really just don't. There's just too much going on. Like, there's 27 tactics cards. Everything has to do with different types of attack. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of like, I'm out. I don't know.
If there was one more, like, aggressive mage type character, like a, if there's like a pyromancer kind of character, I think I'd be in Convocation. But the sit back and be defensive and control-y wizards is not like the wizards I go in for. I like the make stuff explode wizards. And that doesn't really exist in the game at the moment. And if there was that, I'd probably go pretty hard into Convocation.
It kind of seems, it really seems like Convocation is, first turn, here's your plan. You have a couple tactics cards ready. Second turn, here's your plan. Like, it seems like it has levels of play that have to happen when they happen. It feels more
like you're discovering how the list plays more than you're playing it.
Yeah.
That's what it seems to me, because it seems like there's a correct choice, because you have so many different abilities. There's almost always a correct choice. And I think playing a list where it's all about finding the right answer is the list. And I think that's entertaining, but in this game I have more fun being aggressive. And so I don't know that it's what I want to do right now, but I know at some point I'm going to land on Convocation, and I don't know how long I'm going to stick with them, but I think I'm going to enjoy the experience. Because when it comes to like their tactics cards, that's exactly the kind of affiliation I want to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
so really, for me, it's just about getting the right other character.
Somebody's going to do something stupid to me, and that's the way I am with these games. It'll happen to me, and I'm like, oh, that felt horrible. I want to do that to somebody else. So I'll have to learn it and do it to other people. But right now, I'm just, again, it's like learning a whole different language. I'm just not in it right now. There's so many other things to do in this game.
Yeah. And I've personally witnessed Convocation get messed over on dice pretty hard, so... Because a lot of their defense is just like, just make everything Mystic and roll 5 dice. And it's like, well, what happens when you don't block any?
That doesn't mean anything.
Your guy dies. Haha. And you're like, oh, God.
Yeah, I learned that from Cable. Like, just adding 2 dice doesn't
matter. Yeah.
Much.
I played Magneto enough to know that 6 defense dice just means you're going to blank out half the time.
That's awful. That's
the
true.
amount of times I've blocked 0 on 6 is staggering. Like, it's probably 20% of the time. And that's including the cover card. I'm including, like, blanking out, but not counting it if you had cover.
You're like, 6 skulls, huh?
Yeah, no, oh my god. I've lost characters because I rolled 3 skulls while under the cover dome. I'm like, you motherfucker. It's like, one. It's like, I guess I'm dead! Like, screaming at my opponent. Like, it's brutal. Anyway, moving on. I try not to be that salty, but sometimes it's hard.
It happens.
So moving on, we're going to get to our main topic. The reason we kind of didn't go over this in the news is we're going to talk about the new model type, grunts, which is also a sound. I thought we were going to call them minions for sure, but apparently they're grunts.
Yeah. Well, so some information came out. Gamers Guild did an interview. I guess it was today or yesterday. Maybe it was today. That's the first I heard of it. It was,
yeah, this week for sure.
Yeah. And they did an interview with a developer with Atomic Mass Games. Her name is Sarah. She's one of the developers. And it was just to introduce grunts to the world of what they kind of are. Unfortunately, there wasn't a ton of information. But what is most important is basically a grunt comes with basically, what did they call it? Like a champion or a what was it called?
Hold on, no, let me look at the term they use for them. It wasn't general.
It's like
they use the term master in their blog. Grunt character, partner character.
So yeah, so you'll put the 4-level threat Nick Fury in your list, and you will take Nick Fury's model, and you will take your grunt model, and you get that for 4 points. It's not 1 is 3 and 1 is 1. It is a combined, that's what you get.
So covering, just real quick, covering the generic rules, because they released a blog about this as well.
Yep.
And so the generic rules of them are they cannot be included in rosters. You can't pay threat for them. They're a secondary effect of other characters in the game. So just like Jeremy was saying.
Yep.
So in the 2 examples we know of for sure, it's going to be Nick Fury and I believe Elektra. I don't know that they've actually clarified who the parent character is in that pack. Maybe it's both of them. Maybe they both have control over the hand minions.
Yeah, she didn't
but
say.
Anyway,
she didn't say.
Anyway, so yeah, it's from what we understand, it's just a mechanic that the characters have. They've hinted at the fact that these characters are going to summon them during the game. And so my expectation, based on the information we've received, is that it's going to be either a superpower. It's going to be a superpower, but it will probably be a active superpower to like spend 2 summon hand assassin or hand minion, and you spend the 2 power as an active to put the minions in play. I think it's going to be something like that. It could be an ability like Brother Daniel, where it just starts the game in play, and then you can do something to bring them back if they're defeated. But for as far as generic rules that these characters have, they do not have an injured side. If they would be dazed, they are immediately KO'd, so they don't stick around if they max out on hit points, they just disappear. We do know that they will activate simultaneously with their partner character, and so it's not going to give you more activations. For example, the shield minions are going to have to activate at the same time Nick Fury activates. There's really not that much other information that they give us.
There's not. The important parts of it. The important parts of it that we really want, they didn't tell us.
Yeah. Yeah, the part that we really care about, obviously, is the scenario interaction. I would not be surprised if this update drops with an amendment to the rulebook that explains how grunts interact with objectives. They do clarify that grunts cannot have or gain power, and they cannot be chosen to play or be affected by team tactics cards.
I wonder if they simply contest, but they can't control.
That wouldn't surprise me. I would also not be surprised if they just always count as injured, because that was a rumor that was floating when this first got spoiled before AMG even had confirmed that minions were coming. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they basically just count as injured all the time. So they could pick up and extract theoretically, but then they can just get immediately killed. We're expecting them not to have crazy strong stat lines. But it is a collection of 3 characters that is represented by a single stat line. And so I'm kind of expecting 4 or 5 hit points, 3s across the board, no real defensive rules, and then they just kind of get shot to death.
Whatever a 1-threat model is worth, right? Like, because whoever it is, like Fury is at least a 3-point model. at least.
Well, we don't know that. He could be garbage. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I would assume that he's going to be kind of like the original Steve Rogers, where like, or like Green Goblin, where it's like, you could argue a subpar 4-pointer, but he also has these grunts that come with him. And so you're like, oh, okay, well, that's like the get over the hump part. And so, yeah, I would expect to be a 3.5-point character that has grunts, and they cost 4 points.
What'll be interesting is, are they leaders? And if they are, I mean, I imagine them to be amazing in other affiliations. Like,
yeah,
what can they do for others?
Well, that's the problem. Like, man, if these guys contest objectives normally, and you can put them in criminals, like, oh my fucking god, dude.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I mean, so I'm assuming that Shadowland Daredevil will be a leader for Shadowlands, and I'm assuming Nick Fury is going to be a leader for S.H.I.E.L.D. And so and like I said, we don't really have clarification on who controls the grunts in this pack, either Elektra or Daredevil. If either of them can do it, then I would expect Daredevil to be a leader grunt controller, or a leader partner, and then also Nick Fury's obviously a leader partner. So it could be that every grunt controller is also a leader at this point, except unless Elektra either additionally controls them or solo controls them and Daredevil can't, then that would be an exception.
Are you excited to see this effect, or is it like, oh no, is this like a...
Oh, sorry, I missed this line earlier. Their parent characters will have superpowers and special abilities that call them in. So it specifically says that you will bring them in with abilities. So because it says special ability and superpower, maybe some of them... Ooh, maybe Fury's leadership will bring them in because they say special abilities.
That could be.
That could be interesting. And since we're talking about how they're both might be leaders, maybe both of them are leadership abilities that bring them in. Anyway, could be cool. What were you saying, Jeremy?
Oh, are you excited for for something like this to be in this game, or is it like a what are they doing?
I'm not particularly worried it's going to break the game.
Yeah.
Because I have faith in the developers, and these guys are clearly not coming out immediately soon, so they've had time to, like, we've seen the models, which means they've had time to playtest it, and there's yet a lot more time between when these are going to hit shelves and now. So I think we're probably, it looks like they have more than enough time to playtest it, which means I have faith in them to do it right.
Yeah.
This is a potentially game-breaking effect. This is somewhere where you can dramatically change the meta with a single release, depending on how well you can balance the grunt mechanic. And so, yeah, this would normally be one of those times I'm like, okay, guys, let's take a step back and look at this real hard, but I believe that they're going to do it right. So I'm not worried, but it is mildly concerning.
I'm just a little nervous when it comes to like Guardians of the Galaxy, and you have 6 models across, and you're able to put him in there and get yourself like 9.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that could be trouble depending on what that grunt does.
And a lot of other games, like video games and stuff, will count Nick Fury as an Avenger. And so if they put Nick in Avengers and then he's legal in the Sam Spam list, which wouldn't even really matter, honestly, but what happens if it just becomes Nick Spam instead of Sam Spam? Because we've already talked about how we don't even know that Sam is that important to the list. Like, obviously, leadership helps, but it's not game-breaking. Like, it's just a lot of good models is why it works. So now if you've got Sam Spam and the grunts are triggering the leadership every time they die, but they're being spawned on objectives, and so there's not really a choice to do anything about it. You have to kill them. It's like, oh man, what do you do now?
For anyone who's tried to kill Bob, it's a problem. Like, just having a body sometimes is just a problem.
Yeah, just look at, like, what if you bring in Bob and both of the grunt summoners? So you're probably looking at 10 points right there, which fits in the Sam Spam list. And so now you're looking at probably effectively a 7 model wide list, because you're doing Sam, Luke Cage, War Machine, Nick Fury, Daredevil, Bob, and then that's 6 characters, and you have 2 summons, so that's actually 8 wide, and that's 19 points you can go 8 wide. That's pretty brutal.
it's very bad because you can just keep making them.
Yeah.
Apparently,
and running on Sam's leadership. So you've got 3 effectively immortal models as long as you can keep your 2
Yeah.
summoners alive.
that could be a thing. I don't know. I mean, but
Yeah.
they're smart guys making decisions and stuff. So hopefully,
And you kill the grunt, like let's say you put the grunt like in between them and the summoner, so like they kill the grunt on the way to the summoner, and then Sam's leadership triggers, and Nick Fury heals and backs up, and you're like, ah, like you motherfucker.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like this might be better if we'll wait and see because we don't have the full rules yet, and they've been very cagey on saying how they're going to interact with scenario. So it's entirely possible they don't interact with scenario at all. Like they say, these models cannot contest objectives or interact with, and you're like, oh, well that fixes the problem. Like now they're just like an annoyance,
and that would be good.
But some of the wording I've heard people talk about how they're basically supposed to be like an annoyance type situation where it's like, well, maybe they'll have like the honey badger rule. It's like where if they're near an enemy, they lower their defense or something. Like if they have stuff like that,
yeah,
man, who knows?
They keep us guessing. They keep adding things to the game, so who knows? I mean, I it's definitely interesting.
Yeah. Did they say anything else in the interview that you think was relevant?
Well, they made mention of tactics cards and some of their where their ideas come from and all that. Most of that was just fluff, but they did. The guy Nate mentioned, "Hey, just a question, just asking, why did you take what is that card called? The Asgardian one now that's restricted.
Doom Prophecy.
Doom Prophecy. Why did you do that?" And she said, "I can't tell you right now." So there's some plans. There's some stuff and plans.
Yeah.
Which is okay. We assumed that, but it's kind of interesting to hear it.
I think they playtest about a year in advance at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all.
Other than that, no. There was a lot of fluff in the interview, and they just kind of talked about playing games and how fun they are and all that. But nah, that was about it.
Yeah, I wonder if these guys are going to have like a proximity restriction on them where it's like the characters cannot advance outside of range 3 of the leader or something. Or if they're outside range 3, they can't take actions.
I hope so. I think that they will. Like, everything is so limited, and they keep everything pretty cagey with what they're able to do. Things don't usually just go running about and doing whatever they want. There's usually limitations on almost everything.
Yeah, I just remember in other games, including War Machine, anytime there were summoners in the game became the summoning model was basically on the table edge, summoning these worthless grunts, and then they get like slingshotted into the battle by running at max distance and contesting points. And it was like, all right, well, I have to devote like 10% of my army, if not 20% of my army, into just killing these assholes every turn. And so 20% of my army is just permanently tied up dealing with these summoning models, while I have to actually have other models in my list doing actual work. It was always like, well, the cost investment for those summoning models was never the equivalent to what it took to kill their grunts. And so that's one of the reasons I'm kind of worried. Like, if these guys come out and, like, let's say they have, like, 5 hit points, 3s across the board, but you get them every turn that your character activates, it's like, that's a lot of attacking just to clear them off every turn. And so if they contest and interact with objectives the same as normal, it's like, well, what happens when, like, you know, they just get blitzed into the middle of the table, because who cares if they die, pick an objective, back up, and then get killed, drop the objective, summon right on top of the objective, pick it up and double move back again. You're like, well, what are you going to do? Like, these guys, it's so weird what happens when you have infinitely recurring models in a game. And in every game I've ever seen, that always becomes like a fundamental core problem of the game. So I think it is worth being concerned, but I'm confident that they've put the time in to see this, because War Machine went through a huge crisis with like resurrecting models being way overpowered.
Yeah.
And they realized that later towards the end of the game, or the life of the actual game. And they put a lot of effort into trying to rein that in. And so hopefully they realize that that's not a good idea. I am excited that they decided to go with this like Three's Company kind of look for the grunts, where it's like a team And so it's like a shield strike team as a single grunt, and so I think that's pretty cool.
I imagine they'll just have bodyguard and very little anything else. I think it'll be bodyguard and maybe...
bodyguard, huh?
Yeah.
I don't see either of these groups having bodyguard.
Really?
For
their little helper?
Why would the hand assassin people have bodyguard?
To help their boss. Like, I think it's just for their boss.
Okay, so if Elektra, I don't think they'll have it. Like a sack pawn type ability, basically.
Yeah.
I don't think... I would be surprised. I could see the Nick Fury thing, but I don't see the minions having it. What I think Elektra might have is a, like, Ninja Vanish type ability, where you, basically transform her, right? So you place the hand assassins within range 1 of her. They become the target of the attack instead of her, and then she teleports away, like range 2. I think I could see something like that happening. So it's like she has to spend like 3 power to do it, and it's like a reactive get out of dodge from an attack. But once she's done it and they're in place, she can't do it again. I think it might be something like that.
Yeah.
I think the shield minions are gonna have stealth and some kind of buffing ability.
Well, they come with a giant ass plane that you can't move. Don't they? Don't they? They should come with that plane.
No, they just appear with a size 4 piece of terrain.
Yeah, they have that fucking... They've got the ropes. You got to hook the ropes into something.
You know that they don't come with the plane, right?
No, I know.
Okay, I'm just confirming, because you say that, people are going to think you're being serious.
They come with a plane.
They don't come with a plane.
I think I'm going to start buying Train, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
They've kind of got a lot of cool shit now.
They do have a lot of cool shit. I cannot wait to put my Sanctum together.
This sickness is taking you behind. You're very behind.
Yeah, I was really... I thought I was going to do it today, but I just haven't had the energy. Because, like, this is my last day off for, like, over a week. And so it's going to be kind of rough. And so I was like, I'm just going to relax today, and I'm not really in the mood to put models together.
Yeah. But
if I was in the mood, I definitely would have done that. Okay, so Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents is the name of the kit. It is CP55. It's going to be $45 retail. And we already talked about all the cards that come with them last week.
So Nick Fury and his grunts is $45?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And the Shadowlands Daredevil and Elektra is going to be $55 because it's basically 5 models. Ooh, the Quinjet has been spoiled. It's $80. And the Sentinel pack, this is probably not new news, but I haven't talked about it before. Sentinel pack's only going to be $60, and it comes with a gas station, a sign, a car, and a little scatter terrain.
Yeah, I think I want to buy... I want to get enough to put together an actual table with all the parts.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun to get the Sentinel terrain and then like a core set worth and just do like a little like scene. That could be really fun. But yeah, good stuff. Okay, so now moving on to our next segment of today, our wild speculation corner.
Oh, Lord.
Which characters moving forward do you think might have grunts? Ooh. So obviously the first one is Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom's going to summon Doombots as grunts, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Come on now. I feel like they're just prepping. They're prepping the universe for that. They're like, okay, we're going to let you all know how it's going to work. Yeah. And don't shit yourself when you see Doom with his bots, because that's how you know how it's going to go.
So a fun one that could be good is Multiple Man. Multiple Man summoning duplicates of himself as grunts and dropping them out all over the place. That could be fun.
Oh my God.
That's the thing, though. Like, I wonder if this is like the test run, and then in the future, like, you'll be able to summon more than one grunt per person. But that's going to be heavily dependent on how they decide to go with the core rules of how they can test objectives and stuff. If they can't interact with objectives, then you could do like a Multiple Man. He could summon a bunch of duplicates, and they could all have like a 2 or 3 dice attack or something. They just try and like weigh you down with numbers.
I mean, she did say during the interview, like, look, people, it's all about superheroes. It's not about the grunts. Yeah. So I was kind of like, okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like S.H.I.E.L.D's team leader is going to be like a character coming forward and he can summon a bunch of grunts. Like, nobody wants that.
The medic.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The quartermaster, and he just summons guys. You're like, fuck off.
The quartermaster.
Real quick, talking about Nick Fury again, this looks like old Nick Fury, and the box says Nick Fury Jr. Do you know anything about the Nick Fury Jr. storyline stuff? I thought Nick Fury Jr. was like a fairly young adult.
I don't. That's a Parker question for sure.
Right, we'll have to ask Parker next week.
He mentioned some stuff about that.
We didn't have a picture of the model last week, so we couldn't ask him.
Yeah, he mentioned something about that. It's accurate to what it's supposed to be, but I don't remember why.
Okay. Let's see. Other possible grunt users. There's a evil mutant that commonly was part of the Brotherhood in a lot of storylines, and I can't remember her name, but she's like Asian inspired, and she can summon like this like ectoplasmic like suit of armor around herself, and I think project it. And so I was thinking that she could be an interesting one, but I doubt they'll ever do her. I can't remember her character's name. It was like Shishoni or something like that.
Do you think Kitty Pryde will summon her dragon?
No.
Come on.
I don't think we'll see Kitty Pryde in the game for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, because it's hard to translate her powers into the game. Like Professor Xavier. It's like, yeah, Professor Xavier is a very prominent character in the X-Men universe, but he does not show up on the battlefield, and if he did, it'd be impossible to balance.
Oh, well, Magneto's on the battlefield. Come on now.
Yeah, but Magneto shows up to battles in the comics. When's the last time you saw fucking Xavier wheeling his ass down Main Street shooting at people? Like, it doesn't make sense. He's never at the scene of the action. He's always somewhere else. Because he's not a fucking moron. And so the best way to represent Xavier is with tactics cards and leaderships and stuff. If they wanted to print a tactics card that is like Professor Xavier is the title of the card, and it's a leadership card like the Convocation had, but for X-Men, and it just says, like, move a character once per turn as your leadership or something, I'd be fine with that. But making a model of him in a chair to move around the battlefield and contest objectives makes absolutely no sense for the game.
What I'm hearing is you don't like handicapped people.
Exactly. That is exactly
you
correct.
Hate people with disabilities. I understand.
It would be like making a Senator Kelly model. Like, that wouldn't make any sense. He's a hostage. He's
Senator
never there
Kelly.
to fight. Like, it wouldn't make any fucking sense. It would be absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, jeez.
Even if you're looking at the DC universe, what's his name? Lex Luthor actually fights sometimes. Like, so that would make sense. Professor Xavier literally never fights. He is not a combatant. And so putting him in a squad-based combat game does not make sense. I'm so tired of people asking for it.
Yeah, a tactics / leadership card like Convocation would be awesome for X-Men. My God.
Ooh, a second version, this is not going to happen, just to be clear, not going to happen, but a second version of Taskmaster that summons mercenaries could be really cool.
Ooh.
Because that's literally what he does. He is the leader of a mercenary organization.
Who is the leader of the Red Room?
I mean, in the movie it was Harvey Weinstein, but I don't know who it is in the comics.
Oh my God. Nailed it. Got it in one.
Speaking true words over here. RealTrueFacts.com.
But someone who could pop out those chicks, that would be awesome. That'd be cool.
Yeah, little widow assassins.
Yeah. Harvey. Go, Harvey, go. Oh, Jesus.
Let's see. Oh, they could do a version of Falcon that has Red Wing as a grunt. That would be really cool.
I'm not a fan of the Falcon.
There's a lot more of these autonomous like add-ons in the DC universe now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
There's not that many in Marvel that I can think of offhand. I wonder if they'll eventually get into doing transport vehicles. Like they could do the Fantastic Car as a grunt. That could be interesting. That would like transport people around, kind of like Lockjaw.
I don't know about this transporting people around. I can tell you, there's been no games yet that have figured out how to do a fucking transport correctly.
Yeah, that's mostly true.
All right, I'm within one. Everyone piles in. Okay, now I'm going to move. Okay, wait, what just happened?
Now I'm going to get out on the other side of the vehicle and shoot you. And then I'm going to get back in the vehicle and then get out on the other side again. You're like, what? Well, it doesn't say in the rules you can only get out and in once per turn. And,
God.
I will
Oh,
fucking
God.
kill you. Like, instantaneously embark and disembark repeatedly to make attacks. Yeah, I feel like we're missing a really obvious one, and it's bugging me. Ultron. Ultron could do grunts. That was the
Yes.
one I was missing.
Yeah.
Ultron would do grunts amazingly. They could do Hela, and Hela could summon her undead Asgardian grunts. That could be cool.
Apocalypse
Or
and his
like,
horsemen.
or would they be
Apocalypse.
grunts though? I feel like those would just be
Nah,
full-fledged characters.
The rumor is with him, people have been talking about him for a little bit, is like he just gets to declare like which models are his horsemen. And like
his leadership is like nominate 4 horsemen and they gain these abilities.
It's pretty cool. I was like, oh, that would be sweet.
That would be cool. That would be a really complicated leadership. That would be like 3 paragraphs of a fucking leadership, but it would be really cool if they could pull it off.
It would probably make more sense than Brother Daniel.
I feel like it'd make more sense to have a Tactus card for each of them.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, but it could be if you're playing like Horsemen of the Apocalypse leadership, you can play this Tactus card while doing roster selection. And so it would have to be in your 10, but it wouldn't take up one of your 5 slots. And then the war card would be like, like gains extra attack dice or whatever you wanted it to be, or gets aggressive or something, and then like blah 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 down the list. Like, I think that would be another way that would handle it that wouldn't be as rules bloaty.
Yeah.
Man, now I want a new Ultron with grunts.
Dude, I want an Ultron with all the fucking gems. Okay, I'm all in. I'm all into the what if shit. Like, come on.
Can you imagine if they came out with another Ultron and it was like the what if Ultron, and it was like the Vision suit, and he had like the lance and the cape and everything? Oh man, that would be pretty sick. And he was able to wield all 5 stones.
There
like
you
Thanos. Go. They should just do an Ultimate encounter that's Infinity Gauntlet Ultron. That would be really easy because you could just use the Ultron model.
Yeah.
They would just have to write up the rules. That would be a lot of work, obviously, but it'd be easy.
These storylines basically just write themselves. You're like, oh, okay, done. Do that. That's cool too. Do all that. Do you think they're going to come out with a Silver Surfer? Just wondering.
In this game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Surfer, Doom, and the Fantastic Four will come out in like a 3-month span late this year. Like very late this year. Maybe next year.
As a non sequitur, what the fuck is Silver Surfer? I collected comics for years. I still don't follow that.
He is an alien from another planet that became a Herald of Galactus to protect his homeworld. And then Galactus granted him the power Cosmic, which is Galactus's basically science magic from his original universe where he was born. Because Galactus is basically Dormammu of another dimension, or another universe, and so his universe basically was dying and collapsing, and so he used all of their super advanced science that they had to basically pull all of the power of the universe into himself and become like the god over there, and then he used that power to punch a hole into our universe. And so the power Cosmic is basically the leftover like radiation magic that they used. And it's slowly decaying, which is why he is absorbing biomass off of planets to maintain it. And so he can basically do all kinds of weird shit with this power. And he gifts it to his heralds as a way that they can gain enough power to prepare planets for him. And so Silver Surfer was just a dude from a planet that was like their hero or whatever. And like he gave him the power. And from what I understand, the surfboard and all of that is the like from Galactus. He was just a guy.
Got it. Okay. It's just weird.
But yeah, because he gave him the power Cosmic, he is also incredibly powerful because the power Cosmic is basically unlimited power.
All right. So we'll have a Silver Surfer. That'll be cool.
Yeah. I think Silver Surfer is basically like it's basically Captain Marvel, but different.
Do you think this year will be the Fantastic Four year?
I think it might be because I know the movie's on the books. Let's see. Is there a release date for the movie?
I do not know.
Rumors. I was pretty sure it was on the books, but it didn't have. It was like far from a release date yet.
It seems like it should be coming. Like it seems like that's the next kind of like thing. According
to this, current undated debunked rumors are John Krasinski as Reed Richards and Remy Malek as Silver Surfer. Lena Headey to play Lucia von Barbas? I don't know who that is.
Is that Invisible Woman?
No, that's not who that is. Zac Efron is supposedly going to play Human Torch. John Cena is rumored to play Ben Grimm. Some of these are probably very fucking not substantiated.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt is supposed to play Susan Storm, so she would be husband to her, or wife to her actual husband, if that was to be true. The only rumor I want to be correct is Mads Mikkelsen playing Doctor Doom. I think that would be fucking awesome.
Who is that?
Mads Mikkelsen is the guy who played Hannibal in the TV show Hannibal.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That'll work.
That would be a perfect casting. The people were saying that he wouldn't be able to do it because he already played someone in the Marvel Universe because he was the evil wizard in the Doctor Strange movie, but nobody even remembers who the fuck he was in that movie, so obviously that's not a problem. And obviously Chris Evans played the Human Torch before he played fucking Steve Rogers, so who the fuck cares?
The dude who played Thanos also played Cable. Like, they do this shit all the time. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, that's technically not MCU, but yeah.
Is it not yet? Oh, man.
At the time, it was not.
Yeah.
Which is the same argument for Chris Evans, but Chris Evans also, like, the MCU was barely... It was, like, the second fucking movie or whatever. It was, like, the third movie in the MCU.
That wasn't even an MCU movie, though, was it?
Yeah. It was not Marvel Studios yet, but it was MCU. MCU is anything that is in this timeline. What's it called? Marvel Phase 5? I can't remember what they call it when they do their shit. Okay. Fantastic Four is supposed to be before X-Men. It's supposed to be about the same time as the next Daredevil or Deadpool movie, sorry. Here we go. 2023. Okay, so it is next year. Should be fairly early in 2023, though. I guess it's hard to tell. Yeah, it might be first quarter, second quarter of next year would be the latest I think F4 will be out in this game.
Well, I'm wondering, because they're going to do the Shadowlands stuff, is there enough models to fill that out, or are they going to puke out a bunch of fucking ninjas now?
Oh, it's going to be mostly the Defender draft. But they have like 5 model affiliations, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be White Tiger, and she has a buddy. I can't remember his name. Oh, Moon Knight. Moon Knight will obviously be Shadowlands. It'll be Moon Knight, Daredevil, Shadowlands Daredevil, Elektra, White Tiger, probably.
Well, Kingpin, you think?
And then, no. Why Kingpin?
Isn't he a part of that? Like, Kingpin's like Daredevil's #1 like adversary.
Yeah, but he's not Shadowland. He doesn't have anything to do with the hand.
Oh, okay. I don't read any of that. I never read those. I read a bunch of Daredevil, just not
Iron
that.
Fist will probably be Shadowlands. He'll be added in. I think, yeah, there's like 6 to 8 characters I think we'll have. The only new characters beyond the 2 that they've just spoiled are probably going to be... Oh, they could do Nobu. He's like the leader of the hand. As a bad guy. And then I think they'll do White Tiger as an add-in, as a model in this game. She's fairly popular right now. But anyway, yeah, I think that's probably what we'll see. Oh man, I'm so excited for like Ultron and Doom to have
I know
grunts now. Oh,
you're
man.
jazzed. Like,
Just give me the big ones. I want to use the big ones. Man, I cannot wait for Doom so badly. I want to see Doom.
Yeah. I'd like to put him together and play with him and paint him and all that stuff. I really like his style and dynamic and all that. Like, that's cool.
They could charge me $100 for Doom and not put anything in the box but the Doom model on a small base, and I would not complain at all. I'd be like, thank you. I would thank them for the privilege of buying a $100 Doom model that's 2 inches tall and be like, thank you. Like, that's all that would tide me over.
His bots come in a separate box.
Yeah, I wouldn't give a shit. If it cost me $300 to get all of the Doom stuff, I wouldn't even complain. Like, I want Doom so bad.
Here's what they're going to do. It's going to be a small base model that's 2 inches tall in a fucking Dormammu-style box that has, like, a throne and some bullshit fucking scenery.
Dude. Oh my god. I would be so happy if they had like a Thanos type throne that had an additional like sitting pose Doctor Doom where he's just like leaning back with his fingers steepled. Or like with his arms crossed like this in his throne. And then there's like a separate model that you play with. I would be so happy with that.
There probably will be. I mean, they're going to have Doom bots, so they'll probably build it like that.
God, there's got to be Doom bots, right? That would be so cool if they gave you like 5 Doom models and there was just a separate head that was the real Doom's head, and you could put any of them as the real Doom and any of them as the bots. Or if you could just like oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill myself here. So what if it was 5 modular kits that you could interchange the arms and legs on to make different poses, kind of like the Deadpool sculpts, but for Doom. And so he's like, well, I can put like this cape on this Doom and like give him these arms and this head and they're all just different poses. They all look fucking identical. Oh, it'd be so cool.
It would
and
take
you make
you,
your
like,
own Dooms.
It would take you 6 months to commit. You'd be like, I haven't decided.
I would buy 5. I would do every possible permutation that you could even imagine. I would buy like 100 of those fucking things. I would have like 100 Dr. Dooms that I would have to assemble and paint, and I wouldn't complain. I was like, guys, don't worry. My hobby projects for the next 6 months is building and painting Dooms. That's all that matters. Every time I play, it's just with a different combination of Dr. Dooms. Oh, man.
You make everyone play the battles, whatever the battle thing is that comes with the
ultimate encounter.
The ultimate encounter. You're like, ultimate encounters again, guys? Like, no, put that shit away. We're all done.
I think you guys freaked out a little too much on the Magneto ultimate encounter. I don't think it was that bad.
That rocket was a giant penis, and it just attacked us. Like, we got raped over and over and over. It was a literal dick that was just jammed. You're like, what do you need to do? Stop that thing. Well, here it comes. All right, we're going to try and stop it. Couldn't stop it. We're dead.
I remember the game where I can't remember who I was playing. I think it was you and Aaron, and somebody used Lethal Protector and they placed Venom, and I was just like looking at the position of it. I'm like, why did you put him there? He's like, I think that's the best place. And it was literally, I've never seen a straighter line of 4 models coming off of another model to make a Beam 5 in my history of playing games.
That was a good
It was literally like, if I was like, move these 5 models to be in a straighter line, you'd be like, I can't. They're literally in a perfectly straight line. I was like, that is correct. Like, holy shit.
You know how hard it is to get in your head that Magneto had a beam? I'm like, I couldn't.
It was like Beam 5.
I couldn't fathom it.
It was a fucking mystic attack.
It was so
it's
stupid.
Like, what the fuck?
It was so stupid. Like, every time he did it, too, it shocked me. I'm like, all right, wait, he's doing what again? You're like, he's done it 12 times.
The last 8 attacks he made, he's doing that again. You're like, oh, okay.
You like move for free and then attack you twice. Move for free, attack you twice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite good. Is there anything else you can think of that might have minions that would be cool?
Oh my. I think you named them. I can't see any better than Ultron, honestly, and I know that you're in love with Doom. I can't see past it.
Doom, but like the Doom bots are kind of an afterthought. Like Doom bots are Doom bots. They're just minions. Like they're not important, where the Ultron bots could be very important.
Well, I think they are important because that's a Doom staple. Like, that's the thing. His storyline always keeps going forward because every time he dies, ha ha ha, it was a Doom bot. You're like, what the fuck?
Same thing with Ultron, though. Like, with Ultron, I could see a justification that every turn, like, let's say the Doom bot grunt or the Ultron bot that he summons, because if he's only going to get one, it could be literally his stat line. It could be a copy of his card, right? And then every turn he could spend like 3 power to change bodies. And then the other one becomes the grunt and he becomes the real one. Yeah. And so you have to actually kill both of them. And if you kill the grunt before you kill him, he could do like the Hulkbuster thing where he could spend like 8 power to put the grunt back out. And then you have to worry about him switching bodies again.
Yeah. There's so many good things he could do.
Yeah. Because the grunts aren't like a set thing, they can customize each grunt to work with its parent character so well and so thematically. That's why I'm excited about this stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, the shield team guys, like the shield squad, can just be a fucking worthless throwaway piece of crap that doesn't matter, because they're only there to take up space. But then other grunts moving forward could be really, really interesting, because I feel like this is, like, the safe stuff they're doing as the playtest, to make sure they don't go too far, and then the interesting stuff is coming later on. Alright. So that's moving on from here. That's pretty much all we had to talk about today, unless, Jeremy, you have something you want to talk about.
Not really. I could hate on Brother Voodoo for days, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, Voodoo is an issue. I think it really wouldn't be that bad if it wasn't for every time there's a ruling on the forum. Not only is it not intuitive and make no sense, but it's also in the worst way possible. It's like, come on, guys. Like, I understand that the point of the rules forum is to discuss rules as written, but at one point, when you're making rulings that actively go against rules as written and are also in the worst possible interaction in the game, it's like, not only did you rule the way that is bad for the game, but it was against rules as written and makes no fucking sense.
I think in the light of trying to make the game fun for everyone, especially new players, I think this is the model to run a new player out the game. It screws you so hard. It's the most gotcha model right now that's out there. It's remarkable how much that model can fuck you, and it goes against everything else you can do. Like, you can't do anything about it. It's completely crazy. I don't think
in the defense of Doc Voodoo, I have not seen him completely wreck a game that I've seen. Like, he's been strong, but he hasn't been, like, game wrecking. Even Shuri has wrecked more games than he has at this point. Like, easily. But it just doesn't make sense. And we've as a group talked about not playing his ability the way it's written. Like, we've discussed that as a group, if we wanted to do that. That's how stupid his ability is. It's like, we're just going to go the opposite of the way the forum ruling was, because that makes no sense, and it's bad for the game. So yeah, I don't know what we're supposed to do at this point.
For those that don't know and haven't picked the model up and haven't looked on the rules forum, it literally says, pay, put the token on a model, drop the shit that's on that token, and the only way to get rid of that token is for Brother Voodoo to get KO'd off the table. Period. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What else in the game works that way? It's in defense of Doc Voodoo, I believe if the character with Daniel is dazed, it comes back. Let me check. Whenever a character is dazed or KO'd while it has a Brother Daniel token, move it to this character. This character cannot have Brother Daniel token except the one it starts the game with. When this character is removed from the battlefield, remove Brother Daniel token. So yeah, it is best if you don't plan on killing said character, which is really easy because once you put it on them, they can't interact with the scenario anymore. So the perfect examples that I have talked about are Hulk, because if you put it on Hulk and Hulk can't contest or pick up objectives, it dramatically impacts his ability to affect the game, even though he's still an attrition model. Because you can punch him all you want. He'll never, like, he doesn't go away till he's killed. And then the other character it's really strong against is Black Cat. Because you put it on Black Cat, and the stupid interaction that we found out on the rules forum, she can't even use Burglar to make you drop the token. If Black Cat has Brother Daniel on her, she walks up to somebody holding an extract and uses Burglar, she pays the power and nothing happens. They don't even drop it. Because they ruled that the fact that she can't hold a token overrides the fact that she's been giving a token, and the token goes back to where it originally was and she doesn't drop it. As where the logical thing in every other instance in the game is you would gain it and immediately drop it. And so the effective ability would be you would spend the power on Black Cat to force them to drop the token, so they at least wouldn't score it. No, you can't even do that. If she burglars somebody while she has Brother Daniel, they keep their token and you just spend power. Makes no fucking sense. And that's not even including the other things that model can do. Like, he is no slouch. Like, he is no slouch.
He's already a good character, probably without possession. If you remove the fact that he could move the Brother Daniel token, he's still a good character for 4 points.
Yeah.
Because he'd be 4-4-4 defense, 6 medium 2 4 points, and he has a good he has a good builder and a great spender. And he has a throw Yeah, he has a throw also, and has flight, immune to Hex and Incinerate.
Yeah, I mean, especially, so he's a master of an E, like, when it comes to demons, like, he is the bomb.
The answer is you just have to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to put all your attacks into him. He has to die.
It's tough. I don't know. I haven't wrapped my head around it entirely. I've just been gotcha'd by it a couple times.
Yeah. The fact that he can just spend power and make people drop all their tokens is absurd to me. Like, there's so many extract missions where it's like, oh, my guy has, like, 3 objectives, and so, like, I'm doing so well in the game, and he can just double move medium on a medium base and spend 4 power, and you drop 3 tokens. It's like, oh my god. This is so fucking crippling.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, he's freaking nuts. Possession is way too strong. It should probably just be an action, and that would make it a lot more palatable. But it's also not once per turn, so he can possess multiple models in a round, which is really stupid. Considering he can activate multiple times in a turn is also really dumb.
Yeah, it feels like the old Enchantress kind of stuff. Like,
yeah,
kind of feels that way, but I gotta tell you, I think it's better than the Enchantress thing. It's because you can't contest anymore. You can't do anything with objectives. You can't go stand on one. I mean, you're an 8-point model. You're an 8-point model. If you've got that Daniel token, you can't even interact with shit as an 8-point model. Like, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah, I think Doc Voodoo is a bit too strong. I think mainly I don't like characters that have really oddly broken abilities. He's no MODOK, like, he's not going to completely wreck games. MODOK was definitely way stronger than Doc Voodoo is, even with all the fucking stupid forum rulings.
Well, you notice that any of these rules that are kind of outliers that are causing weird shit, I mean, nobody else has the thing that MODOK has with the negating stuff, negating wilds. Like, any of those outliers. And I see what they're doing. It's wonderful that they keep coming up with these new rules that are kind of fun and interesting. But wow, like, sometimes they're just out the park.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy should be on the list for the next revisal if they do another one. But I don't know that they will. I think they're trying to stay away. And the last thing I want to see is the problem with doing an errata is as soon as you do, people just talk about the ones that you didn't do yet. And that becomes the talking point. And I hate that, but I think it's pretty obvious to anyone who plays the game that this guy is an outlier. Considering, I think the 3 models that should be on the need to be errated thing are Black Cat, Shuri, and Doc Voodoo, probably. I think Shuri and Black Cat aren't even close. Like, they're so obviously the most overtuned models in the game.
Yeah, Black Cat is really dumb.
I feel like Black Cat was designed to be like a balancing point for the game. Like, she was there to fix the scripted scenario plays. But the problem is she just fed into it. Like, they took the thing that was supposed to defeat them and made it their strongest weapon. And so it's like, you can't give them that. Like, it's like, oops.
I feel like Black Cat came out because Enchantress existed. And they were like, let's give everyone a version of Enchantress. The thing about her that's good. So they did. And then they were like, oh, crap. It was too much.
Enchantress is too strong.
Yeah, they're like, oh, God.
Like, Enchantress basically got nuked from orbit.
Yes.
And Black Cat was untouched. I'm like, that's not okay. Like, obviously, Enchantress was better than Black Cat, but she's 4 points, so she's supposed to be. But Black Cat, like, is a stealth model that has a reposition that can steal objectives without interacting with them. It's just dumb.
And she can go so far away. Like, when she parks herself right next to you, when she parks herself right next to you, you're so boned. Like, well, the thing is, like, when you know that, like, there's so many, like, big brain plays you can make where it's like, oh, I'm about to, like, I want to get this objective and I have priority, or I'm about to gain priority. So it's like, yeah, I'll wait till this side of the board is gone. I'll double move long and stand next to your character. Next turn, I go first. I steal your objective, move long, place with grappling hook. And you're like, oh, shit. Like, it's gone.
You'll never see it again.
Yep,
it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. And so if you don't have your own Black Cat or Quicksilver type model to go and get it, you're just boned on those single extract missions, which didn't used to be as big of a problem until they stopped printing anything but single extract missions. Like, let's look at the breakdown real quick. All right, so let's look at extract missions. we have 3, 6, 10 extract missions.
Uh-huh.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the 10 are single extract missions. One of them is banned. Wait, hold on. Oh, nope, I was wrong. Sorry. There are 12 extract missions. It cut off at 10. There's 12 extract missions. 5 of them are single extract, and 1 of them is banned. And so 5 of 11 are single extract missions.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are Fs, which are very specific on what you're trying to do, so most people aren't
Right.
playing Fs.
Well, you just can't. Like, if you're playing against Sam and Guardians and criminals, well, not criminals, but web warriors, like, you can't play those missions against those people. It's too high scoring. And so you're put in a really weird spot. So what usually happens is people start playing, like, Montesi and Riot Sparks. Oh, wait, that's not... It put a secure in here. God damn it.
I think there's 10 and 10.
There's 11. There's 11.
Is there 11?
Yeah. There's 11. 1 is banned, so there's 10 playable. 5 of them are single extract.
Yeah. And one of them's not really an extract at all. It's
I was counting that as a single extract because she's still good on that mission because you're making numbers count for less.
Yeah.
But yeah. There are 5 extract missions where there's more than 1 point to be contested. And there's only 2 that have less than 5 that aren't single. And so it's just like there's 2 5s and 2 3s and 1 4. There is 1 4 extract that's playable in the game.
There's only 1 D?
There's 1 D and 1 B, and the B is banned. Wow. That's crazy when you think about it. We need more fucking Bravos and Deltas and extracts, guys. Like, for real.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, that's probably enough ranting.
That's enough for one night.
Uh-huh.
I'll do some more tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you had a good time. Please direct message Parker at parkerisalamo.com. This has been Brandon.
It's been Jeremy.
And this has been All I Want for Christmas is Dr. Doom.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.
We did it. We're here again.
Nice.
Nobody even died.
Nice. If you happen to
I recorded one. I was sick. Now that Parker's sick, he's like, oh, I gotta go to sleep.
I know. It's too bad. But, I mean, look, honestly, isn't Parker always sick? Like, honestly?
He literally always is.
It's just, is he less sick this time or more sick? Which amount of sick is he? Like, it's a lot. Have you been watching Book of Boba Fett or whatever that is?
Yeah.
Are you liking it?
Yeah, it's good. It's a little slow because it's all backstory so far, but it's good.
I watched the first one just to figure out how he got out of the Sarlacc pit, right? But like, my kids watched it, and their question does hold water. So they come up with some genius shit sometimes.
Yeah.
They go, is this better than The Mandalorian? And I said, I have no idea. I'm like, I doubt it.
I mean, the first episode or 2 of The Mandalorian was pretty slow. So far it's been noticeably worse to me, but we'll
Is
see.
there a tiny Yoda that is adorable and you want to put him in your pocket? Probably not.
I never understood that. I do not get the fanfare over Grogu. Like, I actually think he's quite annoying in the show most of the time.
Uh-huh.
I just don't get it. But I don't have that attachment to small things that a lot of people have.
I mean,
People are like, look at my baby. I'm like, that is a gross germ factory. Please get it away from me.
you're missing that part. You're actually kind of sociopathic. Like, I don't love tiny, cute things. Baby
Like,
animals
I
are
like-
ugly.
Like, I like puppies and stuff, and like kittens are kind of
Mhm.
cute. But like, I get like the small furry animal with big head syndrome. Like, that's the natural
Mhm.
aspect. But I've never thought that human babies look cute, like ever. Anyone who thinks that is insane.
Oh, no. They need to be at least
Yeah.
4 months.
They're hideous.
At 4
Yeah.
months, a baby starts looking cute. Before that, it just looks like...
When they get to where they're
grub.
actually clothed
Yeah.
and they can kind of start walking, I kind of get it. But yeah, most kids aren't cute till they're like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 probably.
When they can talk to you and have like a conversation.
Yeah, it's like they're like these weird pink slug creatures that like they're just slimy, and it's like, this is disgusting.
There's a lot of information coming out right now about you.
Hmm.
A lot of understanding
It's
now.
fine.
We get it. Okay, cool. Did you go back down to the plaza again this weekend?
No, why would I go back to the plaza?
I don't know. Maybe that was your fucking thing. I don't know.
Mm.
It's a new thing of yours.
Yeah, yep, that's my new thing. I go to the plaza every week.
Ride around in fucking carriages.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that's over with. The day we went was like the second to last day.
Mm. Did you listen to the new Sunny podcast?
No.
Oh, God.
I haven't listened to any podcast in the last week.
The new one is Choice.
Is it nice?
Mhm. It's a good one. I like the podcast a lot more than I like the show. I started watching the show again, and there's some stuff that's funny and kind of like, I don't know, entertaining in whatever way. But the podcast always makes me laugh. Like they're just so funny.
I think that week I spent sick where I didn't really look at TV like a computer screen that much has kind of like sensitized me to screens, because looking at my screen is like giving me a headache. It's like the bright light and everything. Anyway. All right, so since you read the Grunt thing or listened to that podcast of the Grunt thing where they did the interview, I'm gonna kind of let you summarize that
That's
as
fine.
best you can.
I'll stumble through that.
But yeah, it seems like they've gone out of their way not to give a lot of information about grunts. Or there's just not a lot of information to give.
I don't think they're half as exciting as people think. I'm much more interested to find out what Fury does. Just is he a leader? Like, he's a leader, right?
Jeremy, I can't hear you if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
I think it might be my internet. Hold on. Alright, how about now?
I don't know. I can hear you just fine.
Testing?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, you're back now. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I lost you over Discord, I guess.
Huh.
So what were you saying?
Just stuff we're going to talk about, essentially. Like,
Okay.
again, I find that Fury being a leader and his whatever the fuck he actually is going to do is much more interesting.
Yeah.
And
The only thing I want to know is I just want to see one of the minion or the grunt stat lines just
Mhm.
so we get an idea of what we're looking at, because I think there's a whole lot that you can throw at the wall that doesn't matter once we see the stat line.
Yeah. It would be nice if they just had one wound. Just come on, goddammit. Just
I don't think they'll have one.
No, I'm
I
sure
think
they won't.
they'll- Yeah. I don't think they should either. Like, if they were that easy to kill, I don't know what the point would be. It feels like it wouldn't be worth the effort, if that makes sense.
Well, we'll get into this once we
Yeah.
get started here. I don't have anything else that's been going on. Like I say, I haven't been watching Boba Fett. I started watching Daredevil again. Marvel's Daredevil. I forgot how good that was. It's
It
good.
was pretty solid. Yeah.
And then I was watching some Jessica Jones. Like, I'm back in. I'm like, Netflix again. Yes. And I started watching
It's
The
been
Witcher.
pretty exciting that they've had so many, like, crossovers in
Yeah.
the movies lately. Like, the MCU is expanding into the Netflix ones really quickly.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like the Punisher stuff. I didn't actually dig the Punisher one. I mean, maybe just checking out again, it might be worth it. I don't know.
I just recently rewatched the Punisher
Yeah?
stuff. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, have you watched The Witcher?
I watched the first season, and I think I watched the first episode of season 2.
So I started that show 3 different times.
It's very confusing.
The first time,
I don't know if you're aware yet, it's shot out of order.
Oh yeah, I figured that out halfway through.
Noticeably out of order.
I'm halfway through first season, and it finally, I'm like, okay, I get it now. I guess. Yeah. But here's the thing. The first time I was watching it, I'm like, I can't hear what these fucking people are saying. Like, I can't catch it. And I'm like, I was like, maybe I'll catch up eventually. So I would always fall asleep, and I would watch like 2 episodes. I couldn't get it. Leave it alone. Do it again. Same thing happened. This time I put on subtitles. Oh, I'm in. Like, now that I can actually see what's going on.
Yeah, it feels like you have to kind of crank it. Yeah, to actually hear what they're fighting. Because everyone's like so soft-spoken. I'm like, God, come on.
But yeah, I'm digging it a lot. Like, I can't wait to have a day off where I can kind of just watch like 3 or 4 episodes in a row. I watched a bunch the other day, and I've got a bunch left. Might actually, I was thinking I can buy it for the Switch, so I might actually play that game. I've never played it.
I've never played the Witcher games either.
I heard Witcher 3 is one of the best games like ever made. Kind of deals. Yeah, it's very, very high rated.
From what I understand, it's kind of just generic fantasy, grim, like monster hunting.
It's very open worldy, and apparently you can do just about everything, and people really love it. Like, it's an old game. Like, that game is pretty old, and it's still coming out. It's like Skyrim. It just keeps coming out.
Yeah. Parker was telling me how his brother was talking to him and says that the Witcher book series that the games are based off of is actually one of the best generic fantasy novel series you can find. So I've been considering picking up some of those. Oh, Parker's not here. Did you finish Dexter New Blood?
I have not, no.
Okay, you should finish it.
Is it worthwhile?
Yes.
Okay. I was really starting to feel it was very formulaic. Like, I was kind of getting tired of it, to be honest. It felt very cartoonish. But yeah, I got to the point where he basically figured out about his kid and like what was going on, and I was kind of like, I expected that. And the bad guy, I kind of expected that. So, but it's worth watching, huh?
I liked it.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay. I mean, I love Dexter. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I kind of forgot about it, to be honest.
I'm most of the way through Billions at this point. I just started season 5.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I really enjoy that show.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm kind of at the point where I'm almost over the whole concept because I kind of get what's going to happen every time because it's very like the characters are who they are. You can pretty much expect what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a good show though. I like it.
Again, it's just how deep people are willing to go and the things that they're willing to do if you have unlimited money and resources, and how dirty people are. Just how awful people are.
The part I do like is how there's really not a hero of the show.
No, not at all.
Intentionally, yeah. There's really no good people in the show. I did like the season 4 twist of who the idiot was. Do you remember that?
You'd have to remind me of what happened. I don't remember.
The one guy, the quote good guy of the show, who isn't a main character, the new U.S. District Attorney. What's his name? Conley or whatever his name is. Anyway, he was Chuck Rhodes' protege for a long time.
Oh, was it the time?
Yeah.
Was that the one that ended?
And so he gets a wiretap on Chuck.
And he listened to it.
And then he overhears them saying the idiot, and then they have to stop listening because they claim his lawyer is there, and so they claim that it's attorney privilege. And so he fucking breaks into his own office to listen to the tape illegally. And then on the tape, he's like, yeah, if Conley's listening to this, he's about to get arrested. What an idiot. And he's like, oh shit. And he like frantically tries to put the thing back in the box, and then they open the door and the FBI's there. And he's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like,
so many good, that was a good little twist for sure.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Because I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out.
Oh, I know. Every time you think people are going to prison forever. Like, you're like, well, you're going to prison forever now.
Yeah.
They managed to weasel their way out of it every time. Oh, you know what I watched? Space Force. You were talking about that, right?
Space Force is good.
I dug that. That was really good. I gave it a second chance, and I'm glad I did. That was good. Once
It's got John Malkovich in it.
once I realized how silly it really was, like the things that were going on, and just like it's just serious enough, right on the edge.
They hit that perfect line of it's a ridiculous comedy that has good acting and enough serious moments to really pull you in.
When they're going to space, and she's like, "Somebody needs to feed my bird," and they're like, "We need to feed." Oh, never mind. Here it is, and the bird fucking lands on her shoulder.
The birds, yeah.
The other guy's like, "I'm getting out. Don't get out."
Yeah. The chimpanzee was a great sequence.
Oh God.
The chimpanzee was great. It's like, we need to teach the chimpanzee how to do a spacewalk and reattach a solar panel to the satellite. And it's like, well, how long will that take? You're like, we have 6 hours. He's like, well, it normally takes about a week to train a new behavior. And it sounds like you need me to train him about a dozen new behaviors and how to use new tools. So I'm going with 4 months. And he's like, well, can you do it in 6 hours? He's like, no, we cannot. Like, there's no way this is going to happen, but I'll do my best. He's like, good job.
And when it doesn't work out, he's like, okay, where's that dog at?
Where's the dog? Like, the chimp ate the dog. What do you mean the chimp ate the dog? He was up there without food for like 3 weeks.
Oh my God. And the best part was like, what is he saying? He's like, he wants to eat babies. Chimps eat babies. Yeah. He wants a human baby. Tell him he'll get a human baby.
He doesn't believe you.
Yeah, that show's pretty silly. It's pretty funny.
You tell that chimp that NASA isn't a bunch of liars. Like, you're literally lying to him.
Oh, yeah, just the fact that John Malkovich is in it is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's in Billions, too. So, I mean, you have, like, these... He's such a good actor. He just does whatever.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm tired all of a sudden.
So what's the deal? So you're working infinitely now that EJ has a baby? Is he off for 3 months? What's up?
No, we have 2 part-timers.
Oh, did you hire another one?
Yeah. And then, of course, everyone got sick. So EJ had a baby at the same time that I got COVID. And I think Jenny ended up in the emergency room somehow.
What?
I'm not sure what happened with that. Yeah. So we were closed for a few days.
Oh, my gosh. There was actually a few games going on last Thursday when you were off.
Yeah, it sounded like people were up there. I thought about showing up to crash the party, but I figured people wouldn't want me there.
With you and your COVID juiciness?
Yeah.
Your juicy COVID yuckiness?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Whatever it is. So, I saw Adepticon popped up, and I'm like, yes, they're going to do it. Then I looked over the stuff. Masks required. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
they're requiring you to show apparently proof of vaccination and booster to attend, and they're going to require masks the whole weekend.
Yep.
And the only Marvel Crisis Protocol event they have listed is an open play event, is what I heard.
I would still go, but like, look, I guess I'm just too old. I'm just too old. I can't fucking hear, and when people are talking through a muffled mask, I can't hear them even more. Just no point. I can't go do that. I just can't do it. Which is sad. I really enjoy those events, but man, this is just... I'm losing years now.
Yeah, what was it? It was 2019 we missed Adepticon?
Yeah, it's been 2 years, yeah.
19, 20, and 21 we didn't have Adepticon.
Are you sure 19 we didn't?
I thought 19 was the first one we missed. It might have just been 20 and 21.
I think it's 20 and 21. I think not, because they said on the website, I believe, that last 2 years they did not have it, and they're doing it this year. I'm just basing it on that.
Yeah, that sounds more right the more I think about it, because I'm pretty sure MCP came out October of 19, which would have been right before the 2020 Adepticon.
That was probably the Adepticon where I just played Kingdom Death the whole time. It was one of those type deals, I think. I don't know. I didn't play War Machine. Oh, that's all I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vegas never opened back up. So, Vegas is masked the whole time too, by the way.
Is it?
Yep. My friend Doug, who does all the 40K stuff, is like, had he not promised to help, he wouldn't go. Like, he was like, I didn't know it was going to do that. Screw that. Because that does. It just makes it miserable.
Wearing a mask nonstop for 3 days is miserable. Like, we're not talking about, like, going to the store to play a game for 3 hours, like, wearing a mask. Like, you're wearing a mask, like, 17 hours a day for 3 days. Like, that's miserable.
Especially, I can't. How many more, like, steps do we got to take? Like, if I have to cut off a hand and they promise that life will return to normal again, I would almost do it. Like, I'm like, what is it? What is the ask? Because, like, at this point, this is 2 years. Like, all I am is getting older. Like, seriously. I'm getting tired of this shit. They should have just
done the hard lockdown. Like, just an actual hard lockdown for 3 weeks. And just been done with it.
Or even 3 months. Lock this shit down for 3 months. Just shut the country. We did it for, 2 weeks? We had, like, a 1 week or 2 week shutdown where, like, the world stopped.
I mean, we did what was supposed to be a 2 week soft lockdown that turned into a 3 month soft lockdown. And then they tried to bring it back for, like, another 3 months. And I think that mostly got shut down outside of the large cities. But it's because, like, they didn't actually do a hard lockdown where it was like, okay, everyone, you have 1 week to get prepared. You're not going to be able to, like, no businesses will be allowed to be open. Everyone will be at home. Like, figure it out. Here's your stipend, because they sent out the financial aid anyway. It's like, here's your $1,400. You can't leave your house for 3 weeks starting Friday. Yeah. Go buy all the food you need. Go buy all the supplies you need. Like, and then just be at home for 3 weeks. And we'll just fucking get past it.
I mean, and it's like all of a sudden everyone's going, oh shit, the schools. Dude, schools are just plague like factories right now. Like,
I cannot believe they decided to reopen schools for the 2020 year. I could not believe they did that.
It's as bad as it's ever been in schools right now. Like, it's 50% students are all plagued up. It's bad.
Yeah. It's completely idiotic. Like, who the fuck thought that was a good idea? And I understand that, like, parents are worried about, like, child support. Or not child support, but, like, child care. Yeah. Because, you know, the fucking country is built on, like, basically schools being a babysitter.
Yeah.
But, like, come on. Like, that was so stupid.
It's a trip. I don't even know what to think anymore. Like, I have to wear a mask all the time at work. So it's miserable in so many ways. And then outside of that, having to do that in the real world, too, is just so miserable. Yeah. Whatever.
Yep.
So what's important is, what are you doing for the playoff game? You just hunkering down by yourself, just staring at the TV, like, breathless?
What do you mean?
You watching at your place? Or
I'm going to the game.
Oh, fuck, you are. I hate you so much. I forgot about that.
You forgot I go to games?
Like, no, I forgot you got a ticket for that. Like, yeah, I forgot. You're supposed to get me a ticket. What happened?
I was sick during the time period in which that probably would have happened.
Oh, well. Good Lord. Did you see the temperature of the game? What is that? Philadelphia and, oh my God, who is it? Patriots? It's 0 degrees.
It's not even that bad.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's been games at -30.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's usually like Minnesota and Buffalo are usually the bad ones, but it also New England can get really cold.
Yeah. It was like expected temperature 0 or -5. I'm like, oh my God. Pass.
There was a Chiefs game that was like -14.
How people are expected to just be outside and hanging out in that.
Once it's that cold, it doesn't fucking matter.
Think how hard, like, the football is just a rock, and if that touched your fingertip wrong, that hurts so bad.
It does hurt. No, it fucking hurts. No, dude, props for those guys for playing that shit. That sucks. Getting hit and driven to the ground at -10 degrees.
Ugh.
Okay, so coldest game ever played was Lambeau Field 1967, the Ice Bowl. It was 13 degrees, wind chill was -48.
Oh! Are you serious?
Yeah, -48. Then the Roosevelt Stadium AFC Championship game, Bengals versus Chargers. Holy shit, that was in Cincinnati. Temperature was -9, wind chill was -59.
Oh my God.
Then the Seattle versus Minnesota game, -6 degrees, wind chill -25.
Oh,
Minnesota 0 degrees, -18. Lambeau -4 degrees, -24 with wind chill. Yeah, there's been a lot of 0 degree games.
that doesn't seem like that's a human thing. Like you should not have human beings outside.
Well, I mean, I get it's still fucking cold as shit, but like for the most part, there's not as much wind as there would be on a normal field because you're surrounded by the stands, and so there at field level, there's not that much wind. It's still windy, but it's cut down a lot. And then obviously they're all wearing winter gear within reason.
You imagine I can't even imagine throwing a football in 0 degrees out and just trying to keep your hands like warm enough to like not be punching it. Like I don't even know what you do with it. Just ham fist it. Like it's crazy. Ugh. And I'm sure all the linemen were wearing short sleeves. Like fuck it, man. They're just like monsters. No problem.
Well, I mean, the Ice Bowl, that one in the 60s, like, they didn't have Under Armour then. Like, they're not really... Like, they're probably wearing, like, thermals, but it's not the same.
Sure.
Like, the wind cuts right through it. I feel bad for the kickers. Can you imagine kicking that fucking ice cube as hard as you could? Oh, man, that'd break your foot.
Oh, my God. You know, I feel sorry for the kickers anyway when it comes to kicking a football. Like, people don't realize how hard those goddamn things are. Like, trying to do that... I would like to just do it one time at a professional field to see what like a 35-yard field goal was like trying to kick it. It seems impossible.
It's hard. Well, yeah, it takes training. That's like if you handed someone a football and said, throw a 30-yard pass the first time they've ever thrown a football. Yeah, because they have no practice or technique.
It just seems like it's so far away when you're in the stands looking at it, and that thing is a lot smaller than it seems, for sure.
Yeah. All right, well, we should probably get into it.
Okay.
So our main topic, this might be a short podcast, everybody.
I was thinking
is grunts.
Can we do another? Like, I was thinking of a topic.
Okay.
I forgot to plug it in there. Can we make a list? It's just a make a list topic. It's just making a Spider-Man No Way Home list. And would it be Spider Foes or would it be Web Warriors?
Oh, just making a list for the people that are in it.
Yeah. Can you make?
Yeah,
I think that would be amazing.
You could do Web Warriors a little bit, but yeah, it'd probably be Spider Foes.
Because I think all of those are out at this point. You've got Lizard. Wait, Sandman's not, but like everybody else is pretty much in it.
We would be missing Sandman, Electro,
Electro's
and like a third Spider-Man.
Well, you could put the other one in there. Like, you could run all 3 Spider-Man in the list and just kind of, like, hack it.
Miles isn't in there.
Listen, Miles is mentioned. You fucking know he was.
I was waiting to drop that line, but Parker hadn't seen the movie yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, there's got to be a black Spider-Man out there somewhere.
I know, I was like, yes, I wanted to cheer.
Yeah. I didn't cheer at that. I was excited. I looked at Tiffany because we saw it together, and I was like, "Ooh, Black Spider-Man!" But I made a visible like yell when the Dark Strange came on the trailer. I was like, "Yes!" Oh yeah, and she was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, when they got to the second one, that was good.
Yeah,
that, and I was thinking like Strange is in that list. Like, you could have some cool stuff in there. I don't know if it works. Might be kind of fun to build it. And I painted up Dormammu, so I'm kind of like, wonder how that works. I haven't even thought about it.
It's interesting. I don't know if it's any good. He just seems like he's not at all worth 8 points is the problem.
Really?
Yeah, like that he's the weakest link in all the lists I've built. It's like, yeah, if you could get that leadership without investing 8 points, I think it'd be a steal. But with the downside, you end up actually doing a lot of damage to your list even if you try not to, because if anyone ever gets dazed, they just take damage immediately. Also, your opponent can really fuck you by leaving your guys on like 1 hit point.
Oh, really?
Because in the power phase, they'll daze themselves. Which means they don't get to activate for the whole turn.
Yeah.
Which is super brutal. That's really the problem. Is that I've noticed is that if somebody, like if I activate a model and my opponent hits them, they're like, oh, I did 4 of his 5 hit points. Well, I'll never attack him again. Because he basically doesn't get to go till the turn after next. or the round after an accident. It's like, oh my god, that's so long in between activations.
Mm-hmm.
And you're generally a low model count list anyway because you've got an 8-point leader.
Well, we'll see. I want a dark miasma something. Something needs to be miasma'd. But we'll see where it goes. It's fine. We'll get started whenever.
I'm just trying to think of how that list building would go other than just name people that were in the movie.
I was also thinking of a topic of, we haven't really gone down all of the leaders and kind of given a brief synopsis of how we feel about them at this point. Because some of them have changed. Some of them are brand new. Like, there's really a lot now. And we haven't really, like, gone over stuff like that in quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, just the leaders would be pretty helpful for people just kind of thinking where to start or what to do or whatever. But that's more of a Parker topic.
Yeah, I think I would like to have all of us here for that.
Oh, I know. I don't know where it'll go, but one model that I'm done with entirely, and I really don't appreciate seeing it, Dr. Voodoo. Like, Brother Voodoo. That motherfucker.
Brother Voodoo. Dr. Daniel and Brother Voodoo.
That shit is not okay, by the way.
Which part? The possession, or?
Possession, his fucking weapon, his stuff he does, like...
Just in general, he's
general,
stupid.
Yeah. Aside from just murdering him straight out, like getting him off the board, I don't know what you do about that. Like, it's a really broken mechanic that if you're trying to do a flank with one guy, doesn't matter who it is, it's done. Like, he can own the flank. Like, it doesn't matter.
Well, you can kill him with that one guy potentially, but you have to have a really premium model for that to be an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that he seems to do everything. Like, here, let me... Voodoo. He's got a solid strike. He's got a very solid spender. He's got amazing powers. Is it +2 dice if he's got the token?
Yeah. Defense.
Yeah. It seems very strong.
And endgame for him is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he straight up caused me to lose 3 points at the end of the game. I dropped my token. I couldn't check the spot I was on, and I couldn't go and check the spot that was in front of me. That was my entire plan. And I'm like, well, that just came unglued. Like, it totally fell apart from one model. Like, I wasn't expecting it. Now, I guess I should have, but holy shit. I don't know. Nothing else in the game does that. I don't know. I feel like you should be able to shake that thing out. I don't feel like just having it stuck to you and having that sort of just kick in the nuts.
I feel like this was a experiment of game mechanics, and I feel like they did not spend enough time figuring out how the interactions should work. Possession seems... I know it's a strong ability in the comics, and so they kind of wanted to represent it was a strong ability, but this does not seem to function. This feels like a hired muscle type situation where it's like they might have landed where they wanted the mechanic to work thematically, but it is not balanced within the game rules because there's nothing else like it.
Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it more, it really should have been just like a status effect. You just shake the thing, like causing you to basically get a stagger and to lose and have to pick up a token again and spend and stuff like that is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But the fact you just can't do anything about it is crazy.
Yeah. It should go back to him if he is dazed or KO'd.
Yeah.
Either way, it should go back to him. He should also not be able to possess multiple people a turn, because he could theoretically walk up to like 2 2-pointers and a 3-pointer, spend 7 power, all 3 drop their objectives, and he picks up all 3 of them.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That costs 0 actions, and he just steals 3 objectives.
Yeah,
admittedly costing 10 power, but a character that has sap power on a strike and has 12 hit points can easily get to 10 power.
Oh, he gets the power just fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
Because he has range 3 on his weapons. Like, he hits whoever he wants. He also has that mana burn thing, which is legit. Like,
it's pretty good.
I was shocked. I was not ready for that. I knew what he did, but I really didn't know how critical it was. Not okay.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Random rant in the post ramble.
That's my rant o' the day.
Okay, here we go. Do we have any news other than the grunts?
So all of that Daredevil shit got released, like the models. Is that a thing? Did we know that before?
We knew that they were coming, but I'll put it in here.
I guess I should open this stuff up and do it like real pro should. Let me look at this. What you got going on here? Elektra. Who else was in that little crowd? I don't know if they were named, were they?
Daredevil.
I thought there's a handful of them that are in that picture.
It's Daredevil, Elektra, and the hand minions.
Is that all it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Every time I think of Elektra with her hand minions, I think of Shredder and the Foot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Foot sounds more intimidating.
Oh. Stupid Star Wars stuff.
Is it getting in the way of progress?
I'm just skimming the internet for news, and Atomic Mass Games also has Star Wars news, which I don't care about. I think there's going to be an ass load of Tactics cards in the next, wave.
Yeah.
Or this wave. And I don't know how many of them are going to be affiliated cards. Alright, here we go.
Oh my god.
I'm already working on next year's Christmas list.
Gotcha.
I feel like it seems like this game's always in a state of there's a whole new world coming.
Yep. Well, when all models are warcasters and all you do is play 4 of them, I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, everything that's put out matters. Everything matters.
Yeah, I just feel like the new meta that hit when they did the errata and they changed some missions and stuff. It felt like it was a big deal, and we're like 80% of the way through people adjusting for it.
Uh-huh.
But then all the stuff that's been designed for this situation is starting to come out. And that's going to be, I think, the real juicy bits.
Yeah.
When the new world and the old world start melding together.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe the scenario change up with mission selection and everything. Maybe that came around because they knew grunts were going to be too strong with the old scenario rules.
Yeah, could be.
Also, maybe grunts are a way to combat lists like Sam Spam, but I'm worried it's going to be the Black Cat issue, where it's like, well, yeah, technically you made this to stop people from doing what they were doing, but they just added that to their arsenal, and so you just made them stronger.
I don't know. I kind of feel like they're going to be cute and clever in their own way, but I just don't feel like they're going to have that much impact on the game as a whole. I hope. That's my hope.
Yeah, I think the first wave of grunt summoners are going to be bad, but I think that's good because you can't release them broken, and so you got to aim low,
Yeah.
in case you miss.
They're tired of rewriting cards.
Yeah, it's like you're in a hostage situation where some guy has a human shield, and you're like, all right, well, I'm gonna try and shoot this guy. It's like, yeah, but if you're gonna miss, you want to miss wide. You don't want to miss to the inside, and so you're gonna aim a little bit to that side, right? Like, you're not gonna shoot right down the middle. You're like, I'm gonna cheat a little bit in case there's some wind.
God.
It's like, that's what I feel like every time they release a new mechanic.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but you need to aim wide. Like, you don't want to hit the mark.
Well, they've done it so far, really. I mean, the early models particularly, they only missed the mark on a couple.
I mean, Shuri was obviously like their first hard controller outside of the core set. I think they didn't really have time to get any feedback, but I feel like they realized that Peter Parker was a bit expensive for a controller. But, I mean, obviously, as far as health of the game, clearly Peter Parker was better for the game than Shuri was, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, that's fine. And what he did was, he was a pure controller, and so people in the state of the game where they weren't really trying as hard as they could to win on scenario, I don't think really respected his input.
No, because you wanted to fight. Like, that's what the game was about. You fought.
Exactly.
I fight. I throw things at you. I fight. And you're like, Peter doesn't fight
Especially
that well.
when the meta consists of, like, Shuri and MODOK, it's hard to get Peter on the table.
I still feel like Shuri should have been 4 points. Like, just a little bit more
Yeah.
health. Just call her 4 points, done.
No more health, 4 points.
Just 4 points as is.
As she currently exists, she should be 4 points. And I don't even know if that really brings her actually in line with where she should be. But that gets her pretty close, I think.
Range 3.
When we were first talking about how to fix Shuri, I suggested 4 points and a nerf. It's so stupid. You cannot compare her attack to any other attack in the game. Because it is literally 3 times as good as the next best attack that does anything like it.
It's true. I think everything...
The example is impact webbing. It is a better damage type, has 2 more attack dice, is not dice dependent, does an extra range, and it's like, Jesus Christ, like, it's so much better. Didn't have a size restriction for a long time. Now it's size 3 restricted instead of size 2 restricted, which is massive. Like, holy shit, it's so much better. How about this? If we were to swap impact webbing and Panther gauntlets, does the game function at all? Web Warriors literally win all games, and it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Peter Parker and Gwen had Panther gauntlets?
Just pushing everyone around.
Auto pushing. I have 4 auto pushes a turn that basically don't care about size. Yeah, game's over. The game has ended. Because they'll also conveniently have enough power to impact webbing. So they'll each get 3 controls a turn.
Yeah,
they'll each get 2 Panther gauntlets and an impact and a web line.
Yeah.
That's how stupid.
Roll 6 dice. See if one does any damage. And also auto.
If they wanted to leave it the way it was, where it wasn't dice dependent, it should be damage required. Minimum damage required. A range 5 attack cannot automatically push. That doesn't cost power. It should cost 2 power to shoot it and not generate power if that was the case. Like, it's too stupid.
Well, I mean, look at Iron Man now.
You could lower its range, lower its dice, change its damage type, remove the power gaining, and it'd still be broken.
Yeah. Range 5 is rough. Like, just seeing Bucky at range 5 with his rapid fire, like, range 5 changes the game, man. Like, that's so far.
No question Shuri's better than Bucky.
Oh,
not even close. They're not even comparable models.
No.
It's dumb.
When Shuri was pushing MODOK back, it was just kill yourself, man.
So stupid. So stupid.
Lord. Whatever.
Yeah, you just walk up to max range 5 of MODOK and push him back, and it's like, you're out of the game. And then he has to move twice just to throw something at her. And then she shoots him twice and puts him right back where he was, and he has to do it again.
Yeah, it was so far because he's got a big base. You're like, get the...
I watched Shuri just invalidate 8 points of my army, and I was just like, this is so not stupid. Like, it's so far beyond the line, you can't even see the line anymore. That's why people don't talk about it, because she's so far past the line that you don't even know where to start.
I would take a 3-point model that just gave me rerolls all the time.
Yeah.
Alone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
It's when you look at it in reverse, and we're like, okay, I'm going to start making changes to Shuri. Tell me when you take her out of Web Warriors. Reduce to range 4. Change to physical damage. Lowers to 2 dice. Only pushes on a wild.
Maybe then.
Maybe. No, you'd still take her.
Really? Yeah.
Just as an additional web liner, she's
That's
still
true.
Good, and she gives rerolls. She's still a good 3-point model.
Are in there, yeah.
She probably doesn't make it into every squad, but she's in the 10.
Oh yeah.
And we're talking about cutting her effectiveness in half, and she's still in the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like MODOK. It's like, where's the line? It's like, okay, range 3, 5 dice, no stat power. It's like, where's the line? Like, when do you stop playing MODOK?
I think they underestimated what 10 health on the front actually does.
I think they underestimated the force field. I feel like that was a late ad, and they didn't properly playtest it.
Well, nobody else has one, notice.
Yeah. They learned their fucking lesson, though. I'll give them that.
They're like, Thor goes in there and really tries this time and can't throw him.
Yeah.
You're like, you fucking douche.
It should have been a reroll thing where he could spend power to make you reroll wilds.
Uh-huh.
That would have been fine. because then it's costing him resources and it's not guaranteed. The fact that you cannot generate a wild is so stupid.
Yeah. You can't do cool shit to him. Nope.
Anyway, I think we've probably ranted long enough. What do you think?
The
You
gang
want to play about
rants.
some more stuff? Yeah, the gang
I'm
rants
good.
a bunch. Okay.
I'm all set.
My voice is starting to give out. All right. Cool. Well, I'm ready to stop. Are you ready?
Yes.